Nice, perfect landing. Super excited about this one, guys. One of the best monster trucks you could buy, one of the best monster trucks I've ever driven is now even better. Traxxas has just released the X-Maxx Ultimate. The beast still runs on 8S, it goes over 50 miles an hour, and it gets some sick airtime. But the big change to this one is they've included a ton of their aluminum option parts, which is actually gonna save you hundreds of dollars. I'll have links right in the video description below, but right now let's rip this thing out of the box so we can see what it has. There it is. The size of this truck is just epic. I mean, ever since it was released, it looked so cool. I still have my 6S version. You guys have seen the solar flare version here on the channel as well, which I put the Wide Max kit on. And this one doesn't have a Wide Max kit actually, but there's a ton of changes we need to go over, starting off with the graphics on the body. They now have two different schemes. One's a blue, obviously what you see here, and then they have a green version, and all the aluminum parts on the truck color match the body. So no changes other than the colors and graphics, which again are very cool. Kind of wish they gave us the roof skid with this. Where was that, Traxxas? It's the Ultimate. I think we needed that. Luckily, it's a fairly cheap option to get. The body's still held on with the single rear clip. They do have that inner cage support that's required for the roof skid, so at least we've got that. Now let's take a look at this truck. There's no design changes. They have installed a bunch of option parts from the factory. Again, it's gonna save you a couple $100 if you wanted to go and buy all of these parts separate. So let's start off with what they gave you in the front. We've got aluminum shocks, which we saw before, but now they have the aluminum caps, which a lot of people wanted. They've got the aluminum collars and the Ti-Nitride coated shock shaft, and it does feel ultra plush from the factory. I just love the way these shocks feel. They have the same shock setup in the rear. You get the caps and collars and everything. Now also in the front, they gave you the aluminum goodies on the outside of the arm. So you got the aluminum caster blocks, aluminum steering knuckles. Just love the look of these with the little TRX logo printed on it, the jeweled edge to it. And then they gave you the hinge pin covers for the inner upper arms. They also gave us the rear hub carriers. Again, anodized blue with the jeweled edge, much stronger. The large bearing looks really trick with the blue aluminum stub axles, and they give you the large hexes, which are aluminum. So everything's all bulked up on the outside of the arms. And this isn't a wide arm truck. A lot of people thought that they were gonna give us a wide arm setup because we saw that with the Max. But from what I heard is it's a box issue. The size of the box that this comes in, it fits into the shipping parameters or something like that. So I honestly don't think we're going to see a wide max version of the X-Maxx ever. That's just gonna be an option you're gonna have to go and install yourself if you really want it. And to be honest with you, I really like the way the narrow version handles when I threw the Wide Max on. Yes, it's super stable, but you lose a bit in the steering, and I like that maneuverability that the stock width has. So there's my thoughts on that. There's now aluminum cranks for the steering, blue anodized. They've got the aluminum link connecting them, and even gave us the blue aluminum tubes for the steering links. The servo itself's been fitted with the blue aluminum servo arm, and bolted inside the chassis here, which is a little difficult to get to, is the 2085X servo, which is the metal geared servo, what a lot of people upgrade to in this truck. So those are definitely some worthy improvements. In the rear of the truck, they've got the blue aluminum motor mount fitted to the massive Valenian motor, and then right behind it is the aluminum gear cover. Just really cool looking pieces, helps keep everything stable back there. In the drivetrain area, in front and rear, they have the aluminum diff caps. These pieces look absolutely awesome. TRX logos on them, jeweled edges, and those caps just help keep everything solid. No flex, you know, when that drivetrain takes a hit. I mean, it's got the cush drive in there still, but those differentials, they take some hard abuse, and these caps just help keep everything where they're supposed to be. Now, on all four corners, we've got sledgehammer tires, really cool tread. Love the way these look, but these have now been lined with their belts, so it's not gonna have, you know, massive expansion. And I've actually got a video on Instagram of one of my regular sledgehammer tires just blowing up, actually ripping off of the rim. So if you're really wild on the throttle, you probably are really gonna like these belted tires. Last change I need to tell you about on the truck is they give us the aluminum wheelie wheels. These are pretty neat with the rubber tread around them, the aluminum center section. just tops off the look of this truck. Now the rest of the truck, it's standard X-Maxx, what we've seen, you know, the composite chassis, it's all just well integrated, embraced. We know these things work well. I mean, yeah, there's a debate between aluminum and composite chassis, but we know this chassis setup works well. It has the easy to release battery trays, plenty of clearance under the chassis. Under the skid cap on the bottom, you'll see the aluminum drive shaft. The truck is built up. Now for electronics, it has the VXL8SP controller. The motor's the Valenian 1200 XL wrapped in a aluminum heatsink, and it's got cooling fans to help keep those temperatures in check. And finally, to control it, they give us the TQI radio system, and it now has the Link module installed. So you could use the telemetry with the Traxxas Link app. Overall, love the look of the truck, but we need to see this thing run. So let's head outside. All right, guys, we're gonna start off with a little dirt lot action here. Love the power of this truck. Just wheelies, love it. And I haven't flipped it yet. It is so stable. Look at that, the power saw through that corner. Such a sick truck. All right, got the plastic ramps out. Still don't have a truck to cut around my Fresh Park ramp yet. So still rocking the red Subaru, and these little ramps fit. And you know what? I gotta tell you, even a small jump is really exciting with this truck. Love the power. All right, let's ramp it up a little bit more this time. Get ready to send it, rolling into it. Oh man, this truck wheelie out. All right, we got a longer run up. We're gonna nail it. Oh, our first major crash, and we lost the body. Oh, I wish I kind of fixed that. Simple fix, and let's get one last jump in, guys. Yeah. All right, guys, so we have to go big, right? I'm here at the hill drop off. And this is probably about the same as when I used to jump the berm at the BMX track. You know, I'm not getting the air like the BMX track, but I'm getting the distance and the drop off here. So let's do this. Gonna run down this white line. Nice, perfect landing. Rip it back up the hill here. Let's see if we can wheelie off this hill. Full throttle. Yeah, look at that. And here we go. Nice. Here we go. Yeah. It's a little windy. I think the wind kind of tweaked it a little bit. Yeah. And here we go. Line it up. Oh, I couldn't pull it out of the nosedive. Still survived. Ultimate X-Maxx. Even the body stayed on that time. So I'm gonna roll in about 3/4 throttle and then hit. We broke it. All right, guys, obviously we needed some more airtime than those little bike ramps, so I drove up to RC Madness to hit their big basher jump here, and let's do this. Yeah, awesome. I just love how this thing rolls through the corners. It's shredding dirt. So awesome. shredding grass. Let's hit this dirt mound. Driving an X-Maxx is just pure excitement. The size of this thing, the sound, the power, it just keeps the adrenaline going. It's so much fun to drive, even in the dirt lot with a plastic bike ramp. The thing was so much fun. Just launching off that thing and landing nice and plush. Had a few crazy landings where the body popped off, but this thing is fun anywhere you take it. As long as you have the space to drive it, really open it up, you're gonna have a blast with an X-Maxx. Now, I've reviewed the X-Maxx before, the stock solar flare, had a blast with it, and all the same performance traits are noticeable here. They haven't changed the truck other than improve the durability and style of it. So yes, it still handles great. If you wanna go big air with it, you're gonna have to do some tuning. You have to do that with any RC, but it handles well with the general setup that they have on it. I think the truck steers well, no problems out of that new steering servo. I actually blew up the servo on my XRT a few runs later after the review, but haven't had a problem with this servo. But steers well, tons of power off the line. I mean, wheelies for days if you got the right running space for it. The thing's got to carry wheelies forever, so that's a lot of fun for people. Actually, there is one change to the truck that I need to talk to you about, and that's the Sledgehammer tires. I actually really like the Sledgehammer tires. I think they got a gnarly lug, looks really cool when it's shredding dirt, but these are now a belted tire, so they don't expand like a normal tire does. So when you're going off of jumps and let's say you're used to counting on the tire to expand to help correct, let's say a nosedive or something like that, these tires aren't going to expand. They're just going to stay pretty consistent, so you won't have that ability to pull the truck up and out of a nosedive. And same when you're going off of jumps, certain types of jumps, you're not gonna be able to do backflips off of it because you're not gonna have that inertia to help rotate the truck backwards. So something to think about when you're driving it. They're definitely a great tire. If you're blasting around dirt, that's where they really perform well. The truck will be nice and stable. Just gotta watch it on the jumps. Now, during the action portion, I mentioned something broke and I kind of left you guys hanging. So you had to come to the end of the video to see what happened. And yes, I broke a couple things on the truck. I was having a good time with it, started getting a little wild with the truck, pushed it a little bit too far maybe, I don't know. RC cars, they're not invincible, and I broke some stuff on this truck and I'm gonna tell you guys about it. So number one, I broke the tubes turnbuckles. Actually broke the steel end here. Looks like it broke off right at the threads, and as you can see, I'm holding two. Actually broke one at the hill drop where you guys saw the teaser, and then I broke the other one when I was running some more batteries through the truck at RC Madness. Luckily, I had some on hand, and I was able to go swap that out, but you know, this concerns me a bit because this is an option part that's supposed to be nice and strong. Kind of wondering if all the aluminum now, from the steering knuckles all the way to the bell cranks, everything being aluminum, maybe everything's a bit too strong now, and maybe that's why it broke. I mean, I know the servo saver is there and it's supposed to absorb some impact through the steering system, but I'm kind of wondering if it just needs the composite link back in there so there's a little bit of flex in the system. I'm not quite sure, but this is something, you know, to just be aware of, that it may happen if you crash pretty hard. Now, I also did some cartwheels and some hard hits. I broke the upper brace on the front bumper and actually broke the rear bumper as well. Pulled the screw through the back side of it. So that's the other things that broke on the truck, but everything else still seems nice and solid. No extra slop in these new aluminum parts. Of course, I don't have a ton of runs in on this yet. I got 3 days through this thing so far and a bunch of battery packs, but everything is holding up well, and it's a really awesome looking truck. I mean, if you were thinking about getting all the aluminum option parts for it, this is really the way to go. Unfortunately, I don't have the price to share with you right now. I got the truck ahead of time, but as soon as I have that information, I'll put it in the video description below. I'll put a link to the truck as well down there. But if you were gonna go and buy all of the option parts and an X-Maxx, getting the Ultimate will actually save you a couple $100 from what I was told. So this is definitely a way to go. If you're thinking about getting into an X-Maxx and you want some big action, this is definitely the truck to do it with.